welcome. Sunday edition of the Growth from the Network. Got out of church about an hour ago, so feeling pretty good. I actually was planning on doing this video. I'm not going to be able to do the whole video, but I wanted to introduce at least about once a week. I'm trying to introduce some of these products that we're actually using on the property in real time. It's one thing to catch a video of somebody saying, I use this product, go buy it, as opposed to you being able to see in real time the real reason you buy a product. Hey, Miss Retta, the real reason that you use a product. And today, I can't let it go too long. Appreciate the thumbs up as you come into the live chat. For people that's watching the replay, be so kind as when you see the replay, as soon as you see that video and you like this channel and you're watching, it's not just supporting the video when you press the thumbs up button, it's supporting the channel as a whole. So as you come into the video, you don't have to actually like the video to press the thumbs up button. It's just to support the channel. So you can see right behind me, I got a citrus tree. We came out of the winter. I probably only lost one citrus tree, and that's right here to the right of me. Ultimate Acres says, Grand Rising, everyone in the chat. How y'all doing this morning or this afternoon? Oh yeah, afternoon. That's the only one I lost. I lost that one because my cover blew off in the middle of the night. I actually had all of them wrapped. Everything that stayed wrapped survived. I came out the next morning and I saw the cover had blew off. I was running out of material. I tried something different. I tried a little makeshift material. It didn't work out for me. I ended up losing one. So far, I think it's gone. But when this one came out, all the rest of them came out, start fruiting, start putting on. This one here came out, and this is my mandarin. It came out, and it started yellowing immediately coming out of the winter. I already had the product that I needed. I should have been did this, but I didn't want to do it before the video. One of the worst things about YouTube is you always gotta wait for the video. So anyway, I've been had this product for about 3-4 years. This is gonna be one of those products that you're gonna buy and there's not much use for it until you really need it. Now I like about the product, I'm gonna tell you about it. It's called Chelated liquid iron. If you look into the description, you'll see it. I put a link to it from Amazon. It's about $13.50, $13.49 for this product. So I'm not pulling your chain, right? Corrects iron deficiency, and you see right in red, this shows you like this is what it's for. Yellowing of foliage. It's what it's for. Okay. So it says use on potted plants. I actually even you can use this on any plant. So how you have plants and you're like, man, why are the leaves turning yellow? Peppers. Pepper plants are one that's good. Lemon trees are some that's good. Any plants where you start to see that yellowing of foliage. Pineapples. It's right here. Citrus, shade trees, flowers, and vegetables. So you can actually put this on a wide variety of plants. And it's actually a liquid iron. And it says chelated nutritional spray that corrects iron deficiency, yellowing of foliage. That's what's happening when you start to see those leaves yellowing like that. Because if you can look at some of my other plants, you don't see that yellowing of foliage. Right? Look at this one right here. You don't see that. It's just right here. Something in the soil maybe it's just not right for the tree. It's full of micronutrients, so a lot of nutrients that you're just not getting when you add in fertilizer. For those that use whatever kind of fertilizer, chicken manure, cow manure, sometimes a lot of those fertilizers are missing some of the micronutrients that your plant needs. You got to think of it as like you taking a multivitamin. Kind of the same thing. Getting some more of those micronutrients and other micronutrient deficiencies in the plants. Now, this is going to be for soil for foliar or soil applications. Foliar applications. All right. If it wasn't about to rain, I would do that one first. Right. Basically, a sprayer. You don't have to use this kind of sprayer. You can use any kind of little dollar hand sprayer. What? Something like this. All right. Now I got this from somebody. I wouldn't recommend you using a window cleaner bottle, but they sell the empty bottles at any store. I would recommend you use an empty bottle, but this is something else somebody gave me, so I'm not gonna talk about this. Use a little bottle like that if you don't want to go spend that $10, $15 for this. Any little bottle is great, as long as it's a good spray bottle. It contains, right here at the bottom, so it contains chelated iron, copper, manganese, and zinc. The first time I found this product, I was watching Organics Best Urban Gardener, and he used to do a lot of citrus videos. And it was one video that I actually was looking up this product, and I saw his video, and this was one of the products that he recommended. I immediately went and I bought it, and it worked for me. It worked for my citrus tree. It's not the first time I've had a citrus tree to yellow, which is why I'm not like, oh, why is my tree dying? Like, I'm knowing it just needs some iron. When I first had the problem, I thought it was dying. But then I got to the point where I had this. Like I said, I've been had this forever. I hope it doesn't expire. But I started, even sometimes I would, like say, I would spray it on a couple of my vegetables too that were getting that yellowing foliage. And it actually works. Two applications. I'm going to read it to you. If you peel this back off, this is what I tell people. When I go in the stores, they probably don't want you to, but I always peel this off. Sometimes it sticks back at the store, sometimes it just stays like that. I don't care. I need to read what's behind there. I need to see, do I have, is it going to do what I want it to do? And do I have the necessary things that I need? So this one says, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a soil application. Hey, Laura Spencer. We're going to do a soil application. And all that means is we're going to take a gallon of water. And so it says up to 2 feet, you want to use 2 tablespoons per gallon. A 2 to 3 foot plant, you're going to use 4. A 3 to 4 foot plant, you're going to use 8 tablespoons. And a 4 to 5 foot plant, you're going to use uh, 10 tablespoons. And all that means is, but either or per gallon, you're going to use, for 2 tablespoons, you're going to use 1 gallon. For 4 tablespoons, you're going to use 2 gallons. 8 tablespoons, you're going to use 3 gallons. 10 tablespoons, you're going to use 4 gallons. So that's how it goes. Once you read that, you'll get that understanding. Today, I'm going to use about 3 tablespoons because all I got is 1 gallon. So I bought 1 gallon out to show you. If I really was going to do it right, then I would use the 4 tablespoons and have me 2 gallons of water. But for the sake of the live stream, I'm just going to kind of show you how it actually goes. You can use this on potted plants. If you see right here on the bottom, it got flowers and vegetables. Foliar spray is the same way. Using a spray, all you want to do is drench the leaves. Like I said, I'm not going to do it today. I was ready to do it, but I think it's going to rain today. So if I did it right now, then I would actually have to come out after the rain and I would have to do it again. So you want to do this on the evening, a late evening when it's not going to rain, and just wipe everything off. So it says follow directions for foliar spray under shrubs. Soil application, cultivate the ground lightly and apply 2 tablespoons of liquid iron per gallon of water to 10 square feet. Soak thoroughly with water after treatment. So the way I see it is you just mix everything in and you just pour it in. So before you're going to water your plant, you're going to mix your gallon, your 2 gallons, or however many gallons, and you're going to pour it around your plant, not too close to your root system, but you're going to pour it around. Then after that, you're going to soak the area, basically washing it all the way through the root system. So there's something for potted plants, and it kind of tells you what's in here. It's some copper, some iron, manganese, zinc, and some other little things derived from copper. And it gives you a little breakdown, but it's 3% iron. And then it just got what's the package for, just other little stuff. And right here, let me show you. It's got a little, it turns your, it's gonna turn your water orange looking, okay? So, but if this is the color of it, you can tell. But it talks about shrubs and citrus trees, including avocados and mangoes. So good for mangoes. I've been learning about mangoes since we're growing mangoes. And I did see where some people were talking about actually using it on their mangoes to help them when they're fruiting, before they're fruiting and stuff. I actually saw that as well. It's called chelated liquid iron. It says mix 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. Apply through foliage spray. Apply through foliage spray to both sides of leaves. Okay, so it's saying for both sides of the leaves. This for your citrus tree. For citrus, apply every 2 weeks during the month of January, February, and March, or during budding and blooming. Any excess that runs off will drip onto the roots, feeding to the root feeding zone and give stronger lasting results. All right. So I guess I'm behind. I should have been doing it January, February, and March. But usually I just do it when I see the problem. Like I said, I probably saw this problem in January. To be honest, that's what I said at the beginning of the video, right? When it was coming out of the winter, I started seeing it yellowing and all the rest of the leaves were looking good, like this one. But of course, I'm a YouTube gardener, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to wait to do a video. Obviously, that's about 2 months too late. I'm finally getting to the video. So anyway, the link is in the description. What I'm gonna do is, I don't have a tablespoon, but I got this little teaspoon, plastic dollar store teaspoon, and I'm gonna show you kind of how. I'm gonna bend it down just a little bit, kind of show you what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put it right there. That way you can see the bottle. Let's take this off. It's been a while since I used this, so I'm gonna shake it up. Hope everybody's having a beautiful day. I always like to shake stuff up. I don't know why. All right, so haven't used it in a while. They got a little pinhole right to the top of it. Basically, you can get like a pencil. When you buy it and you first take the top off, you just poke that little hole right there. All right, so here we go. Here we go. See what comes out. Let you see how it looks. So this is the liquid iron. I just think of it as a nail. You know, back in the day, the old folks used to like put nails in the ground. So to make 3 tablespoons, or to make 1 tablespoon, we need 3 teaspoons. So that's 1, 2. Oh shucks, I missed that one. That's 3. I gotta do that one again. I dumped it all outside the thing. That's 3, so that's 1 tablespoon. We gotta do 3 more. Of course, your measurements will never be totally true unless you're really, really watching it. So that's 2 to a gallon. I'll probably do some more another day. But they say every 2 weeks, so just for the sake of the video, we're gonna do just how it says, 2 tablespoons to a gallon. Or that's gonna be 6 teaspoons. Whatever you got, 2 tablespoons, 6 teaspoons. Don't forget to press that thumbs up button when you come into the chat. So you can see, we're going to show you what we're trying to get this plant. We're trying to get this plant, I'm pointing at that thing. We're trying to get the foliage green like over here. I would have missed all 3 times. Yo, my bad. My bad. It always goes better off camera, you know that. Right? So you can see the jug now. Of course, if you got a sprayer, it's gonna turn your sprayer this orange color. You got a jug, it doesn't matter. So shaking it up. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna do a soil application. Basically, I hope that it rains so I don't have to get extra water. But hey, you know how it is if you're a home gardener. I have arrived automatic something. Hold on. Let me see. I have arrived automatic thumbs up before going to the chat. Yeah, I like that. So before you even come to the chat, right? Give me that thumbs up button while I shake, shake, shake in the river. We're gonna rock it to the teacher all day long. Puffing and the puffing, gonna sing a little song. All the little birds on Neighbor Street, rocking and the robin go tweet, tweet, tweet. Said rock, rock tonight. All right, so sing that little song and then you're ready. So you're gonna see me. Let me see if it's raining because it was raining a little bit. Okay, so let's stop. I'll bring you out for a second. Then we'll come back here. All right. All right, so basically, it's about time for me to start taking all this stuff away. I'll probably just leave it here. If you really want to do this right, based off of the calculations on the back of that package, then you would like to take a ruler or a tape measure, and you would measure how tall your tree is. And on there they have the 2 to 3 foot, 3 to 4 feet, 5 to 6 feet on around. Here, what I'm gonna do is, I hate to put my foot down here, but let me just take away some of this. I actually tried something new this year. Watch, I'm gonna show you something real cool. So I actually threw some around my trees for the fall since I knew the grass wasn't growing that much. I actually threw some of these turnips. If you don't eat turnips, the turnip seeds are really cheap, and you can see all the bugs that it got on it. But you can feed it to your chickens if you don't eat turnips. But they're really good in that bread and butter canning recipe. But that's that. So set that on the side. And here we go. And we're just pouring it around there. I like that foliar feed a little bit better because I know that it's getting on the plant. Here you're going to get some runoff, of course, and it's going to take time to get into the, it's going to take a little time to get into the system of the roots. But with that foliar feed, it actually can start feeding as soon as it gets onto those leaves. I found the foliar feed to kind of help a little bit more for me because I'm always last minute on putting this stuff in. So after you would do this, remember you can do this every 2 weeks, supposedly January, February, and March, but I'm behind, so all I got is the month of March, so I can do this every 2 weeks in March. Maybe I'll even go into April, but it shouldn't take long for those leaves to actually start back getting green a little bit. Cut off some of this dead stuff. Just help your tree a little bit. Of course, you're going to fertilize a little bit, but that's what they really need because the fertilizer sometimes will not actually, like they'll grow, but those leaves will stay yellow. And you're like, man, I'm putting fertilizer on it. What's wrong? A lot of times your fertilizer just has that NPK. It only has those 3 until you start getting into those micronutrients. That's when you'll finally start to see your tree getting a little bit healthier. And like I said, with anything, any of your peppers, your vegetables that get those yellow leaves, you can hit this with a foliar feed, 2 tablespoons or 3 teaspoons or 6 teaspoons to 1 gallon of water, and then just mix it in a little sprayer. And that's it. If it was raining like it's probably supposed to, then that rain will just keep washing it down. If not, I'll have to get a couple buckets of water and kind of soak it a little bit. Just to soak that copper, that liquid iron, get it into the actual system or the root system. Or the water is what makes it more available to the roots. All right, so I'm back. So hopefully soon, this one will be like that one. All right, that's what we're going for. That's what we're going for. Right there. All right, so another further loan product. I'm sure this isn't, if you're asking, I'm sure this isn't an organic product. It's hard to find an organic product. Like I said, maybe the way the old folks used to do it when putting the nails down in the soil and stuff, maybe that was to feed the tree that iron that it needed. I'm not sure because I don't know what the stuff is made out of now. Maybe the nails used to be made out of real iron, but now they're made out of all kind of stuff, zinc and all kind of stuff. So I don't know. We don't really understand the old ways too much right now anymore. But I know that this is a product to help you for that situation, the yellowing of the leaves. So let me get in the comments. That didn't take that long for us to do that, right? Even though I was on live stream talking about it, doing it, we're only at 21 minutes and 50 seconds right now. So this isn't gonna take you a long time. If you got this product, you're looking at no more than a 5-minute deal from actually pouring the water in the jug, fixing it. Appreciate the super chat, Janelle. Pouring water in the jug, fixing it. Probably it might take you longer to find this than it takes to actually do it. Because if you don't know exactly where these things are, you might not even use it one year. Like I don't think I used it last year at all. I didn't have the problem, but now I need it this year. So I don't know. And usually it happens with those younger trees too. When you get those older trees, I don't think I've ever seen a nice size citrus tree with yellow leaves all over it. It's usually those younger trees. They haven't figured out how to go in the soil and find those nutrients themselves. But once you introduce those nutrients to them, then it makes it a little bit easier for them. So let me get into the comments section. Here I go, everybody. Let me get my phone. I can't really see on Bell's phone that well. Let me get my phone out. I don't know why it's not showing. Yeah, so check it out. And there's a whole bunch of products gonna show up. There's different varieties of this, but I found that's one of the cheapest ones is to actually get that little $13 bottle. It's gonna be one of your cheapest bottles to have. And like I said, if you've ever had that problem, what I was doing before I started Organics Best video, I was doing the Epsom salt. I'm sure a lot of you do the Epsom salt. When you see the yellowing leaves, you get the Epsom salt, mix it with water, pour it on. That works too, but at some point you get to where the Epsom salt isn't doing it, and then you're like, still, what am I doing wrong? The Epsom salt isn't working, and my leaves are still getting more yellow and yellow. And that's when I went looking for YouTube and in the, like they say in the YouTube streets. I started looking, trying to see like, okay, what can I use? And that was one of those things that I found. Let's get into the comments. Everybody's saying hello, what's going on? Deanne, Happy Mac, Frank, Nicole, of course Miss Retta, Joshua, Frank Greensweep. I don't know if I've ever seen that name before. Probably so. Grace, what's going on? What's going on, Chaya? Chaya the one said that automatic thumbs up before going to the chat. Yeah, so I hope that this is Nicole says I have an avocado tree. So yeah, chelated liquid iron. Just check it should be, let me check. Yeah, the link, you'll see that Amazon link is in the description under all of those hashtags that I put in. But you'll see it says link for product, chelated liquid iron. It's a good product. It's a good product to have. Like I said, not gonna use it. I've used more root stimulator. When I showed y'all that root stimulator, I think it was last week. I've used more root stimulator. I probably used 2 bottles of root stimulator, and this is the only bottle of liquid iron I've ever bought. It lasts. And look on the side. I think this is a 16-ounce bottle. Look at this. Let me show you. So this is a 16-ounce bottle. It shows 14 right here, but this little part is the other little 2 ounces. But if you look right there, since I bought it from 16 ounces, I'm down to 12 ounces. It is maybe 12 and a half if I could hold it straight enough. But that's the ounces on the bottle. So this is the 16-ounce bottle. That's how much I've used since I bought it 3 years. It doesn't take much. I stopped using a lot of stuff, especially when I'm like trying to be like as close as you can to organic. Sometimes you can't be 100% organic, or you're just gonna lose what you're gonna lose. If you want to go 100% organic, then you don't use anything, and if it lives, it lives. If it dies, it dies. That's true organic. But me, I try to like save what I can save because things are getting so expensive. These trees and everything is getting so expensive. So it's one of those products that, like I said, you don't need it all the time. When my plants actually correct, when I start to see the greening of the plants and the foliage start to green up and it starts to go back to how that one looks, then I just stop using it. I've never did January, February, March like every 2 weeks. I've never done that. It's always once it corrects itself, I stop use on any kind of sprays for the most part. But what this does do for those people that are in the chat, what a product like this does do is it helps get you in the mindset of really working your garden. A lot of times we want to plant and just fertilize and water sometimes. And we think that's all it takes. But really it's more to the garden than just those three numbers, that NPK, 13, 13, 13, 8, 8, 8, whatever people use. 511, right? 511, 5 nitrogen, 1 phosphorus or potassium, 1 potassium, whatever. It's more when you really start to garden as the years progress. When you first start, you're only going to worry about those three numbers. But as you begin to progress in gardening and you begin to see these different deficiencies, it's not just pests all the time. Because you're buying your neem oil. I know everybody here. Hey, Renee, welcome to the live chat. Welcome to the member area. I don't know if I saw your name in the member area. So welcome, welcome, welcome. As you progress in gardening, you're going to start seeing these different issues over and over and over. By having the products that you need, you kind of getting, it's kind of like the same thing I said, getting your multivitamins, getting your emergency, your vitamin C, taking, what's one that we take now, like that is it MSG, like conjointing stuff, like all these little things. Maybe you take CQ10, maybe you take L-arginine or L-carnitine. There's so many little nutrients. MSM. There you go, Nicole. Sorry about that. That's what it is. MSM. So you take those things. You don't just take a multivitamin and say, "Oh, it's all in there." A lot of times they got a little bit, a small portion of those micronutrients in there. But if you wanna get a real intake of it, you gotta go get that actual product. You gotta go get that fish oil. You gotta go buy that garlic. You gotta go buy that glutamine if you want the potency of it. And so that's what having all these other little products do. Is yes, they might have a little bit of iron in some of your fertilizers, but it's nothing like just go and get the iron. That's what I'm saying. If you go now, I know I got a certain percentage of the iron, as opposed to having, just say when you look at here, you got you got 0.5% copper, 0.05. But look at the iron. You got 3.25%. Here on the, what that's on, manganese, that's not magnesium, that's manganese, so that's different. You got 0.15. Here on the zinc, you got 0.16. So you can see how it's broken down. Look on your fertilizers. I don't care what you're buying. If you buying whatever fertilizer you buying, check the breakdown of what's in it. And many times you'll be like, man, it's just those macronutrients, right? Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. And they don't have much of anything else. And that's why a lot of times some of the trees or your plants kind of suffer, because some plants, not all, a lot of your plants, 80% of your plants can survive off just NPK. But when you get that 15%, that 10 to 15% of the plants that need that something else, same kind of plant. They're just like people. They just need that. They're deficient in certain things, and that's what we do. We come in and we find those products that can actually give them that boost just to get them back right. And once they get back right, you can leave it alone. Hey, Barb, Miss Barb. Frank says, I feed my citrus coffee grounds, ground up eggshells, and chicken manure. And of course, the coffee ground is going to have some nutrients in it. The chicken eggshells are going to have nutrients in it. It's just if you need. So you may get to the point where those are that particular tree, that's all it needs. So this video is dedicated to those like this one. No matter how many trees you grow, you always gonna find that one tree, two trees that needs extra help. That's not like the rest of them. Miss Sharon Cleghorn says, hello all, first time on the live. Welcome to the live stream, Miss Sharon. I done turned my phone off. These phones is crazy. Back to Genesis says, in my country, all our citrus are attacked by pests and diseases. Just in a year, should I plant in my greenhouse? I mean, anytime you can plant. If you go and look at Deep South Homestead, his greenhouse, his high tunnels are nothing like mine. He's a better builder than I am, Mr. Danny. So he's actually made his high tunnel, like all of this is closed in. He has he's built like wood panels all the way alongside his high tunnel. Let me turn it this way so I can show you. All right. So if you look down mine, it's actually open to the elements. A lot of times it's full of bugs, full of everything, pests all over it. But his is a little bit different. His is actually, all right. His is actually like I want to say screened in. So if you do have a greenhouse and you're growing any kind of vegetables, it is better to screen them in, right? The more you screen this stuff in, the better. I think for pollination, he like leaves his doors open during the spring season, but at night, no pollinators are running around at night. So at night, he actually closes it up. Me, I do mine's a little bit different. My high tunnel is only closed. It's only closed in the hottest part of, or in the coldest part of the winter. So when we get those days where it starts to drop below 20 degrees or so, I go ahead on and close everything up. Because at nighttime, I'm talking about my nighttime temperatures, I don't want to kill my stuff or make them stop growing. So when our nights are below 20, 25, I close the sides down. When the nights go below 20 to 15 to 10 degrees, I actually have little wires that I have to put on the sides of the roll down to make sure it's sealed. So on those days, I seal the greenhouse to try to seal in as much heat as possible. Because here in Louisiana, though it's 20 degrees at night, it might be 50 to 40 degrees in the daytime. So with a high tunnel, once it gets daytime, a high tunnel is closed up. Inside this high tunnel in the daytime during the winter, I can get up easily to 60, 65 degrees every day. So that's why my things actually keeps growing. The grass never stops growing in the high tunnel. If you're gonna grow in the high tunnel, you got some citrus, it's best. All of my citrus do really well in the high tunnel. Really well. Love to see Renee in the chat, one of our members. Nicole Marie says, YW, yes, my plants need act right. I need garden act right. Yeah, it's just knowing, as you become, as you move away from being a beginner gardener. Let me put this back right here. As you move away from being a beginner gardener, I got so much stuff to put down so this thing don't fall. All right, here we go. As you move away from being a beginner gardener to a more seasoned gardener, you will start to have more things that you need. Like I said, a lot of this stuff, you're not going to use it every day. Like I'm not, me personally, even though this thing says January, February, and March, that's telling me that I should be putting it on this tree right now. I don't know. Me personally, I just don't do it. Like if the tree is doing fine, at the same point, I don't want to create a needy tree as well. So that's why I don't over fertilize. I don't go crazy. I just let everything kind of grow at a good pace, at its own pace. I do fertilize, but I'm not a scheduled type person. Like I'm not gonna January, February, March every 2 weeks. I'm not gonna do that. I'm the type that if the plant is growing and is maturing and is strong, I let it do its thing. And it's not showing me that it's weak. If the plant is weak, I'll help it along. But I won't go to a perfectly healthy plant. Maybe I should. Maybe that's something I need to think about. Maybe that's something I need to mature on because that might make me have a better garden. So let me not say that. Let me say, as of now, I don't do it that way. Maybe in the future, I might have to start thinking about that. But I'm not going to do it this year. But maybe in the future, I might start thinking about trying to see what will a tree do if I put it on a real schedule. I can't do the whole property that. But I don't know. I just don't want a little weak tree. When I don't feed it, it doesn't do anything. Like, oh man, I got to feed this thing again. It's yellowing again. You know, I struggle with keeping schedules. Yeah, I'm like you, Miss Renee. It's hard. It's hard to keep that schedule. Laura Spencer says, I can't see or hear anything. Are you there? Probably you have to get back out and get back in. Lady Courtel says, we were just talking about this Friday, and here you are. Thank you. Talking about the yellowing of the leaves, Lady Court. Frank says, I have citrus. Frank says, I have citrus under the pop-up plastic tent wrapped with incandescent Christmas lights here in Connecticut Shore. It has fruit and looks pretty good. Sounds good. Sounds good. Miss Retta says, hey, Miss Retta. Did I see you earlier? Yeah, I did see you earlier. You know I'll be forgetting crazy. I just want to make sure that I speak. I got to make sure I speak. But I know I said, hey, Miss Retta earlier. Miss Retta says, Laura, the sound is fine. Check to make sure your volume is on. Yeah, make sure. What's going on, Joshua Peters? I use a sprayer to water my seedlings. Cool. Janelle says, I like the Super Thrive. Old school, no transplant shop. I actually use Super Thrive for a few years, but I only reason I used it is because I went to Walmart. Hey BM, I went to Walmart. What's going on, Damon Gaines? I went to Walmart and found them for $1. That was the only reason I bought them, because other than that, it was like $10 for that little bitty bottle. I was like, I'm not paying $10 for that. A couple of weeks later, I caught the clearance, and they just had cases of them. I loaded up. I gave some away. I loaded up on them though. So I don't know if they actually worked, because it was just like an addition to the garden. I was like using it when I was watering my plants. I don't really start seedlings indoors anymore. So as I was like direct sowing in my little waterer, I would put it. Where's my little water bottle? So I can show y'all what I'm talking about. But like this little water bottle like this, where you can hook it to your hose pipe, I would actually fill this with like water and drop some Super Thrive in. I would drop some fish emulsion in, and I'll water all of my plants with it. I haven't really even started using this year. Probably in another week or so, I'll start to mix in some of my fertilizer in my water. I don't think I'm gonna add any of this liquid iron though. It's just fish emulsion, water, maybe a dab of root stimulator, something like that. But for the most part, that's kind of what I use. But yeah, Super Thrive, I used it. Would I pay the $10? It's probably done went up higher than that now. But I wouldn't pay $10. Think about it, $10 for that little bottle of Super Thrive. For people that think this stuff is high, and this one is $13.50 for 6 ounces. Whereas I think that Super Thrive is like 1 ounce. And you look at the root stimulator, the Super Thrive is supposed to be they don't say it's organic, so I'm not gonna say that. I don't think nowhere on that bottle it says organic, so it's kind of like a root stimulator to me. It's probably the same stuff in it. Have you started growing any pomegranate? Well, we got about 6 pomegranate trees. One died last year. I really needed to order some more this year, but I just said I wasn't ordering any trees this year until I put everything that I have here inside the high tunnel, until I get all my trees in a position, and then I'm gonna start ordering more trees. That's the only reason I didn't order, but I do have to order about 2 more pomegranates. Hey Tony Ann, I do have to order 2 more pomegranates that I actually saw online. I saw on a video. The next pomegranates I'm gonna order is like the ones that the seeds are like soft seed pomegranates. That's what I'm looking for next. Bahamas in the house. Edward's Homestead says finally caught alive. Welcome, Edward. El Negro Hotep says, have you started growing any pomegranates? Yeah, I just did. They're like babies. They need a lot of attention at first. Yes. Don't put your look. I'm begging y'all. I learned the hard way. Cost me a lot of money. So thankful to God that I haven't lost my job, because I don't know what I would do, right? So I've had to rebuy. Not because something was wrong with the tree, but because something was wrong with my thinking. I would just watch plants die. Like, I don't know why. I would like, um, forget it. I'm growing organic. If that plant want to die, let it die. And they go ahead and die. So uh, there are some instances where, like I said, plants need a little help. You bring that solution, whatever it is, whether it be inorganic or organic, and try to nurse your plant back to health. As far as like letting it be a big boy and just letting it die, and then you got to go buy another one that's going to show the same disease, the same problems, and then you're gonna have to nurse that one back to health. So you might as well just nurse the first one back to health. Nicole Marie says last year was my first gardening year. The pests, got to most of my plants, but my trees, I'm growing lemons, limes, avocados, and figs indoors because I'm in Ohio. Okay. This vid is on time. Cool, cool. And so that's a good thing about this chelated liquid iron because if you read on the front, if you read on the front, it says about shade trees, right? It does, right? Yeah, shade trees. Lawns, citrus, and shade. You can even put this on your lawn. If your lawn is yellowing, for those people that like those really green lawns, you can even put this on your lawn too. But if you're growing in a house, especially like some kind of tree, and your tree is not getting the amount of sunlight that it needs, that chelated liquid iron might help a little bit more. I've started my dogs indoors, but thinking of keeping them inside. What does that mean? Chili says, I was wondering about Super Thrive. Can anyone confirm the grow rate by just using it by itself? I think I tried Chili, but I didn't see any. I'm gonna put it this way. Like I said, I've used it in conjunction with other things, but I haven't seen it like. Of course, I didn't go buy any, right? If I got that many for free, not for free, for $1. If I got that many bottles for $1, where I was able to really use, I was able to use it liberally because I had so many of them. I didn't see anywhere where like my garden just boom exploded. I just didn't see it. So, and I was looking too because if it had done like a crazy huge deal that was worth me spending $10 for that for the bottle, I probably would still be going out buying it today. But it didn't do anything to me more than what my fish emotion was doing. I just put down fertilizer. Like I said on this video that I put out, best organic fertilizer ever. The most growth that I've gotten is actually being out every day. Actually being out on the garden, in the garden, on the property every day. That's where your growth is really going to come from. Being able to get ahead of those white flies early, get ahead of those tomato hornworms the day you see them, get ahead of those army worms. That's where the growth is at. All these other things are just complementary to you actually being out on the property. You just have to go out there. Everything else take care of itself. My fig tree was fine. Now all of the leaves fell off. With a fig tree, if most of the times with mines, if the leaves fall off, it's because they need to be watered bad. Like you missed a lot of watering. That's the only time the leaves actually start to fall off my citrus trees. If I go too long without watering, you can see those leaves. They start to show because there's some big leaves. They need water, and if you don't water, they're gonna show and they'll fall off. But get a good watering schedule. Hit them with some fertilizer. If you're growing indoors, you're not gonna use fish emulsion, so you're gonna have to find a way to use some kind of fertilizer. I'm not gonna tell you what to use, uh, but they should. If you start to water them, those old leaves, of course, ain't coming back, but they'll throw off new leaves unless they're all the way dead. If they got some green on that stem, if you scratch the stem and they got some green on it, they're still alive. You can just go ahead on and pick up a good watering regimen. Almost to 100 thumbs up. So somebody help out the chat and get us to 100 likes, please. And appreciate the person. I know I said it, but appreciate the person that sent us the donation, the super chat. Really appreciate you. Jenny says, wood ash from fire is beneficial to chickens as well. It helps remove any kind of mites or parasites in their dust bath. Yeah, so chicken baths, I sometimes if they got a lot of little bugs starting to come up in my chicken cage, I would actually either use the wood ash. It look like we're getting some rain though. Either use the wood ash or I would use that diatomaceous earth, and I just start sprinkling that diatomaceous earth in your coop. And as they begin to give their little dust baths and stuff, that diatomaceous earth would actually, get all in their feathers. I actually do the same thing for my dog as well. I kind of cover his nose up and put a little diatomaceous earth in his coat, and sometimes I just put it on the ground where he likes to lay, and let him just roll over in it. Miss Lori says, "Hey, Miss Lori." One of our members say, "Remember to hit the like." Yeah, we already there. We got our 100 likes. Love to see it. Okay, says I've grown figs in New York. Yeah, the leaves fell off. Well, the leaves should fall off once a year. I had mines indoors. Even in the high tunnel, my leaves fall off. So at a certain temperature, your leaves will fall off. But if it's spring and it's about, just say it's about March, April, May, they should start showing some signs of budding or leaf growth. Good news, chickens will produce massive amounts of eggs when fed beans and pasta. That's good. That's good. I saw Led did a video on that. Yeah, I saw Led's video on that. How long did your pomegranate take till it bore fruit? And can you use the leaves for anything? For tea? Mines are not even bearing fruit yet. Uh, the tree that I took it from, the one of my air layers, I think it was like a wonderful pomegranate. That tree was actually producing fruit, but it wasn't holding the fruit. And we had that tree in the ground for about 3, 4 years, 4 or 5 years maybe, and it finally started producing actual fruit, but it wouldn't hold the fruit. And before I got a chance to start researching how to get the pomegranate to hold the fruit, because pomegranate's flower is holding the fruit that seems to get hard. It's kind of like a persimmon. The first couple of years they flower, but they drop all that fruit. It's until that root system gets strong enough, they're not going to hold that fruit. So I didn't have time to research it, but now I've actually got more pomegranates. Our pomegranates right now are about 1 year old. So I'm looking for maybe another 2 to 3 years before they really start fruiting. Might not take that long, but whenever it starts flowering, that's when I'll start my research. And then the next year after that is when I try to actually get it to hold fruit. That first year, I probably won't try to, I'll just let it do what it does. If they're too small, I'll take the flowers off because I already know they're going to drop them. And what you notice with any flowering or fruiting plant, if you don't take those fruit off those small trees, the growth of the tree will slow down because it's trying to start pushing the nutrients into the actual fruit. But if you take off the fruit early, as soon as it flowers, just go ahead and take it off, then that tree will actually keep growing because it doesn't have any fruit to worry about. It'll just worry about growing. So a lot of times it's kind of either or what you want. Hey, Valerie. Nothing but the truth says, "Hi there. Thank you for everything. You have no idea how you've helped me that night. I've been getting help and the Lord is keeping me. God bless you and your followers. You truly saved me." Ain't nothing but the truth. No problem. Hope all is well with you. I would check the soil to see if I'm overwatering or underwatering. I'm getting that chelated iron after my workout. Yeah, it's something good to have. Like I say, a lot of these things that I'm going to introduce to you, that I'm going to show you, is something that I actually use in real time. Like the water thing. I don't water my plants without it now, without that water filter. I just don't. That's plain and simple. It worked for me. It brought my blueberries when they were dying. It brought them back. Why would I not use it when I was going to have to spend $20 for every blueberry plant. That was gonna be $100 if I lost 5 of them. And all I had to do is spend what, $30 on a filter, and now all of my stuff is looking good. I'm gonna stick with the filter. Like I said, if I go to Walmart, that's $60, $70 spent. Why would I not spend $13 on something that I can have for 5 years? Or that filter that I can have for 2 years? What's going on, Demu? Jeff H. Jeff H says bullseye. Thanks. I can't stand when people don't give people their props. Yeah. So I did see that video. I saw Lead Farmer's video, and actually that was the first time I ever seen somebody. Me, I feed my chickens everything, so it wasn't a new concept to me to feed chickens food, because I just feed them kind of like a dog. I don't feed them chicken, but I feed them anything else. Old beef, old food, I just feed it to them. But that was the first time I've ever seen, I think, that I've seen somebody like prepare food how people do for their dogs nowadays. Actually prepare a meal for their chickens and put it in the refrigerator and keep it with the pasta and the beans. And I thought, I mean, that was a good idea. I don't know where he got it from, but that was a good idea. Like I said today when I started off this video, Organics Best Urban Gardener, the first time I ever seen somebody use this product and use it for what I needed for it. Maybe, I don't know. I've never seen anybody use this product at all before I saw his video. And it was right on time. Just like some people said with this video, it was right on time. I needed something right now, and I was able to go out and get it. Granny Go Together says, first time tuning in, do you have a video on the filter? Let me see. How I actually search for my videos, I just put my name in, Grow Family Network in YouTube. Let me see. Grow Family Network, water filter. Let's see what comes up. Yep. So just put in, I got 2 videos on it. One got 3,000 views. The other one, the first one I did, has 6.4 thousand views. So you'll see it. Um, it just put in Grow Family Network water filter, and it'll come up, and you'll see these thumbnails like this. I've used them. I don't share with you things that I don't use. I haven't in the past. I would just use these things and wouldn't share it. But then something said to me this year, if I'm going to be with you throughout the gardening season, and I'm not going to actually show every little detail, um, but when I have a problem, I want to be able to show you what I'm doing. That's the reason for kind of doing these kind of every day, because all it takes is me one day to spray that, foliar feed it, and I won't be doing a video on it. Like, you won't just see, oh, here's another video, foliar feeding. No, it's like you gotta be there to see it, and when you watch as the months progress, you'll see this tree, and I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it, whether the tree survived. You'll see whether the tree died. It's kind of the perfect way to follow a garden, because a lot of times with some videos, you'll do a video like the plum I did. I did a video planting that plum, digging the ground out, putting the pot in, kind of like an elevated container pot. And that tree hasn't done anything. It's been constantly going down. But if we would keep up with that day by day, you would have seen that tree either doing better or doing worse. So how people ask, what's going on with the passion fruit? What's going on with this? What's going on with that? It's a lot to cover. Whereas if you can just stop by once a day, you can get a good feel of what I'm doing in the garden, what's going on, how I'm feeling about the garden. Today, I was going to church, and We got a couple of seconds before this live stream is over. I was going to church today, and I used to complain about overcast. You can see how overcasty it is behind me. Sun's not shining. There are some weeks where we might get 4 or 5 days of overcast. And so this is what something told me this morning while I was going to church. It said, look, when you get your overcast at the beginning of your season, a lot of times it's in the spring we get these crazy overcasts. Sometimes a week long, just overcast, no rain. I'm like, where's the rain? All this overcast, never get rain, gray skies. And this is what he said to me. He said, the times where you get those 3, 4, 5 days of overcast, that's the time you get out and work. Because when that sun hits, then you complain about how hot it is. But when you get your 3, 4 days or your week of overcast, take advantage of your overcast. Perfect time to get in your garden at 11, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. You can't do that when the sun is out. But when you got an overcast, a good overcast, a breezy day, think of all those things that you needed to get done. You can go out, and Green Sweep said it. I can work all day in that overcast. Thank y'all for watching the Grow Farming Network. This video is brought to you by me. Just a person that's trying to get you to understand how to grow, how to continue the growth in your garden. Of course, this video isn't just about gardening. It's about a lot of things in your life, right? A lot of parts in your life. You don't need a lot of stuff. Or a lot of you only focused on job, bank account, house, right? That's your NPK. You only care about those things: your job, your bank account, your house, and your car. Maybe 4 things. That's all you care about. That's all you're focused on. But remember, there are some smaller things in your life that you need to put a little bit more time in. That means a lot, right? Kids, friends, family, yourself, right? Those are those little micronutrients that makes a life really worthwhile. Reading, research, those are going to be your micronutrients in your life. I hope that helped you. I hope that means something to you. But remember, in all areas of life, that's what this video is about. That's what this channel is about. It's about not only growing your garden, but growing your family. That's why we call it the Grow Family Network. Remember, in all areas of life, not just in the garden. We love you. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the thumbs up, y'all. But as always, grow, grow, grow. God bless you. Take care of yourself. See you later, Miss Ruther. See you later, Miss Laura.